The Lagos state government saying it will investigate a shooting in which soldiers allegedly opened fire on protesting Nigerians. Now, the ongoing protests are against police brutality in Lagos. According to witnesses, at least 2 people were shot. Thousands of Nigerians have demonstrated nationwide against the special anti-robbery squad every day for nearly 2 weeks now. Rights groups have been accusing the police unit of extortion, harassment, torture and murder for years. Now, the unit was disbanded on the 11th of October, but the protests have persisted, with demonstrators calling for a raft of law enforcement reforms. Now, what you're hearing there, shots being fired at this incident taking place on Tuesday, and authorities saying that Tuesday imposed a round-the-clock curfew on Lagos as the state governor said the protests had turned violent. Witnesses, the eyewitness, I should say, footage showing protesters running from the Lekki toll gate amid sounds of gunfire. Another video shot after nightfall shows people on a highway as more shots ring out. Well, let's bring this story home now, and hundreds of Nigerians based in South Africa have gathered for a peaceful protest at the High Commission in Pretoria. And let's connect with our Malungelo Booi, who is in the country's capital, and that's where the Nigerian High Commission is. Malu, good morning to you. How are Nigerians in South Africa reacting to incidents that are happening in their home country?
That's right, Collie. In fact, we're just near Loftus Veld, Collie. This is where you can see the Nigerians behind me have gathered. In few minutes, Collie, they'll be moving to their embassy to register their concerns, really, about what's happening back home. As you rightfully said, over the past 2 weeks, we've been seeing Nigerians back home protesting against police brutality and also the disbandment of that notorious unit which is known as SARS, which activists have for years, Collie, been claiming that really that unit is responsible for torture and murdering Nigerians. And of course, Nigerians also in the diaspora have joined this call, calling on the end for police brutality. We've seen Nigerians in Canada taking also to their embassy there. We're also seeing them here in South Africa, also gathering here and getting ready, Collie, to go to their embassy. One of the people that has gathered here in Pretoria is Tommy Moyan, who is the protester. Tommy, please, thank you. Come closer to me. Tommy, we know, though, that the government has since disbanded this unit. What more do you want?
We know the government has disbanded, but there are a lot of things that Nigerians want at the moment.
Yeah.
Disband is not just enough. We need arrest. There are police officers, there are evidences that are in the public domain, and we need police officers to be arrested in Nigeria. We need some of those officers to be brought to book. So don't tell us about you setting up a justice inquiry or you have disbanded SARS. You disbanded SARS and came up with SWAT. What is the difference? What are you telling the Nigerian citizens? So make some arrests. There are evidences in the public domain. Make some arrests and be drastic about your approach to the situation on ground.
Tommy, SARS has been there for over 30 years, that's my understanding. You'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
What is it that they did this time around that was sort of like a tipping point for ordinary Nigerians who have taken to the streets over the past 2 weeks?
So SARS has been there for some time, you're right. SARS, if you know what the meaning of SARS, the acronym is Security or Anti-Special Squad Against Robbery, right? So it's a squad, a part of the police that is supposed to combat crime.
Yeah.
And it's an anti-robbery squad. Yeah? Now they have not been doing that. There are a lot of criminal activities or things happening in the country, but you have not seen them attending to that. But you go after innocent citizens, people that are going about their business, and you label them, you stereotype them, and you begin to attack them. And you don't just do that, you arrest them illegally, you do not charge them. All of a sudden you find citizens, great citizens, youth of our country, Nigeria, being brutalized and being killed. That must stop. And the reason why you will find SARS doing that is because there's no structure. If you see how some of them even appear in public, you will be shocked. They look like criminals themselves. In fact, we can label some of them criminals.
I quickly want to ask about what happened last night, where we know that soldiers fired at those unarmed protesters.
You know, last night's incident is so unacceptable. You have a state, Lagos State. You have a state that has a population of over 20 million people, well-congested state. You know how the protesters have been protesting before some political thugs and some hoodlums hijacked the protest. Then you, as a governor of the state, or the #1 citizen of the state, announced a curfew, giving the protesters a limited time to get back to their residence or to their homes. You cannot do that. That is unacceptable. Then, at the protest, we saw footages of protesters singing the national anthem. And soldiers came on the scene and started firing at them, and fired and killed some of them and brutalized some of them. The same protesters that are protesting against killing. But the last reason with is to kill innocent citizens, innocent protesters of the country.
All right, thank you so much for your time. That's Tom Moyan. He's one, Koli, of the protesters. I also think, Koli, it is important to tell you that Amnesty International, who has also been monitoring what has been happening in Nigeria, said there's been about 15 people that have been killed since the protests began about 13 days ago.
Malungelo Booi giving us a reaction there from Nigerian citizens based in South Africa, and I can tell you that reaction to what's been happening in Nigeria has been coming in thick and fast. Malu, I'm going to let you go for the moment and for you to gather more reaction from Nigerians who are protesting. It's a peaceful march. They are going to protest outside the Nigerian embassy here in South Africa.